My name is Scott Gibb. I'm been a model railroader for about 40 years, I guess. And I worked for the Canadian National Railroad for 38 of those years. So I started collecting model trains. And by collecting, I had to have a place to display them. So I started building a model railroad in the basement of our house. And everything just grew from that to what it is today. Things were changing so fast in the 60s and early 70s that I felt I needed to preserve some of it some way. So that's what got me started in model railroading. And I guess you'd call it a loner. I didn't know any other model railroaders. And lots of railroaders. Found out later that a lot of them were the same thing. Afraid to admit that there were model railroaders, I guess. We formed a club called Prairie Rail Workshop, which still exists today. The museum came to one of our meetings one night, asked the whole group of us, probably 25 or so of us, if anyone was interested in building a railroad in the museum. I mentioned it to one fellow, and he said, I think it's a good idea. So there was two of us. And then we got a couple of other friends, and we set up a contract with the museum. What you see here, they provided all the material, and the five of us built it. And I think we ran our first train in April of 1992. That's last April was 25 years we've been here. Well, it made my retirement enjoyable because you, like I said, on the window ledge here, you can see the teeth marks of those. Some of those are 25 years old. We daren't varnish it again because it'll cover them all up. We built this little platform here so those little kids, instead of biting there, could get their eyes up high enough that they could see inside. Just to see them come down here, bang, bang, bang on the button here to see the train start running. It's just heartwarming. Probably the first week that we were operating here, there was a lady come in from out of town with her little girl. I think she was 4 and a half. One of the hedge biters. And we never got to see her, but she always left a note. And it would say, "Dear trainman, we were here yesterday and we just love your trains and thanks very much," and so on. Signed, Katie. Well, last year we met Katie. She's 22 years old, married, and got a little girl. And every time they came to Saskatoon, we got that note. "Dear train people." And I've got all the notes in there. Every one of them. That was part of the whole thing, was to get more people interested, and especially kids, get young people interested. And when we first started here, and they told us at the front desk, "You guys have brought in more memberships, family memberships, than any other group in the museum." So that's made us feel pretty happy, of course. And we love it. We're here every Saturday morning. Sometimes just to sit around and talk, but there's usually some maintenance to be done. And so we usually spend 3 or 4 hours here on a Saturday and try to run the big layout as well. You mentioned trains. Anybody mentioned trains? "Oh, have you seen that display at the Western Development Museum?" Yeah, I've seen it.